Number 7. Ford Tempo, 1984 to 1994. Some cars fail loudly enough that everyone notices. The Ford Tempo failed quietly across a decade in the driveways of millions of buyers who had simply wanted something practical and affordable, and deserved better than what they got. The Tempo arrived in 1984 as Ford's aerodynamically styled compact, replacing the Fairmont. The wedge profile was genuinely modern, and the marketing positioned it as a step forward. The mechanical reality was more complicated. The base 2.3-liter four-cylinder was criticized throughout the production run for refinement that fell short of the competition, and the ATX automatic transaxle attracted owner complaints across the car's production years. Rust in the lower body became a recurring complaint in harsher climates. Build quality varied in ways that made individual cars inconsistent. To be fair, the Tempo improved across its 10-year run, and later versions were meaningfully better. But the buyers who came in at the beginning absorbed the cost of a development process that had not caught up with what the exterior suggested. The Tempo sold in very large numbers. That scale made its consistency problems more consequential, not less. Number 6. Cadillac Cimarron, 1982 to 1988. Now, this is where lists like this get uncomfortable, because the Cimarron didn't just fail as a car. It failed as an act of trust between a brand and the buyers who had been loyal to it for decades. The Cadillac Cimarron was built on the same J-body platform as the Chevrolet Cavalier, which retailed for substantially less. Cadillac added leather seating, a few cosmetic distinctions, and a higher price, and called it a luxury vehicle. The 1.8-liter four-cylinder produced 88 horsepower at launch. That figure, in a car wearing the Cadillac crest, was genuinely difficult to reconcile at the dealership. Ride quality, interior refinement, and perceived build quality all fell short of what buyers had every right to expect when they chose a Cadillac. Automotive journalists were direct in their criticism, and sales never came close to GM's projections. To be fair, the Cimarron wasn't a bad small car by the standards of its platform. What it wasn't was a Cadillac, and the buyers who paid a Cadillac price for a Cavalier in different clothing walked away with a disappointment that damaged the brand's credibility for years. Number 5. Sterling 825, 1987 to 1991. If you've never heard of the Sterling 825, that's part of the story. If you owned one, the story is very different. The Sterling arrived in 1987 as a collaboration between Austin Rover and Honda, positioned as a European luxury alternative below the German brands. The Honda-sourced engine was mechanically sound. The rest of the car reflected Austin Rover's quality standards of the period, which were not sufficient for the American luxury segment. The electrical system attracted consistent criticism, with reported problems ranging from power window failures to more complex faults the American dealer network was poorly equipped to resolve. Body sealing fell short of expectations, and parts availability extended repair timelines beyond what any daily driver could absorb. The Sterling performed poorly in period quality surveys and developed a reputation for disappointing ownership quality almost immediately. The brand withdrew from the United States in 1991, one of the faster reputational collapses a luxury nameplate had experienced in the American market.
Number 4. Alfa Romeo Spider, 1980 to 1989. Some cars earn loyal defenders not despite their problems, but almost because of them. The Alfa Romeo Spider is one of those cars, and that makes it exactly the right kind of entry for a list like this. The Spider arrived with genuine European sports car credentials, a classic roadster silhouette, and a twin-cam engine with a lineage enthusiasts respected. For buyers who wanted Italian motoring below the German price point, it was appealing. The ownership experience required a tolerance for mechanical attention most American buyers were not prepared for. The fuel injection system fitted for American emissions attracted a consistent reputation for sensitivity. Cold starting, idle quality, and calibration all required specialist knowledge not reliably available at American dealerships. Electrical faults accumulated steadily, and rust was aggressive in the lower body and floor sections. To be fair, the Spider rewarded owners who understood its habits. Some genuinely loved theirs, but many buyers discovered it demanded more time, attention, and specialist knowledge than they had expected. Number 3. Pontiac Fiero, 1984 to 1986. The Fiero is the car on this list that still starts the most passionate arguments, and it probably should, because there's a genuine case to be made both for it and against it, and the truth sits in an uncomfortable place between them. The Pontiac Fiero arrived in 1984 as America's first mass-market mid-engine sports car, and the concept generated real enthusiasm. The early production models, however, carried a serious documented problem. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder was prone to oil consumption, and when oil levels dropped low enough, connecting rod failures could cause engine fires. NTHSA investigated, and Pontiac issued recalls addressing the fire risk in the 1984 through 1986 models. To be fair, Pontiac addressed the issue in later years, and the 1988 model was a substantially improved car. But the early owners, the ones who bought in when enthusiasm was highest, were the ones most exposed to a problem that should have been resolved before the car reached production. The Fiero deserved better development time. The buyers who purchased the earliest versions deserved it more. Number 2. Yugo GV, 1985 to 1992. There is a version of the Yugo story that almost generates sympathy, and then you remember who the car was sold to, and the sympathy shifts direction entirely. The Yugo GV entered the American market in 1985 at $3,990, the least expensive new car in the United States at the time, aimed at buyers who had been priced out of everything else. It was produced by Zastava in Yugoslavia on a platform derived from a 1971 Fiat design, powered by a 1.1-liter engine producing around 55 horsepower. Build quality was inconsistent in ways that should not have varied between units. Electrical faults appeared early and proved resistant to simple repair. The car's maintenance demands exceeded what its price point led buyers to expect, and the consequences of unmet maintenance were expensive relative to the car's value. Parts availability deteriorated as political instability in Yugoslavia escalated. The gap between what the car promised and what it delivered was felt most directly by the people who could least afford to absorb it.
Number 1. Chevrolet Citation, 1980 to 1985. Every car on this list failed its buyers in some way. The Citation belongs at number 1 because it combined enormous sales, enormous expectations, and a documented failure that arrived almost immediately after launch. The Chevrolet Citation was Motor Trend's Car of the Year for 1980, GM's flagship entry into front-wheel drive mass-market motoring, and the car meant to signal the company's answer to the import decade. It sold in very large numbers in its first year. NHTSA received significant complaints about rear brake lockup under hard braking in the earliest production years, serious enough to generate regulatory attention and recall activity. Beyond the brakes, the Citation carried carburetor hesitation and stalling complaints that dealers saw consistently, and build quality fell short of what the launch implied. The car's reputation deteriorated faster than almost any Car of the Year winner before or since. The gap between the scale of the launch and the quality of what buyers actually received is what places it at the top of this list. GM asked the public to trust a major transition and delivered a car that wasn't ready.